Have you ever noticed how sometimes you don't feel successful, but you also don't feel like the same person anymore? Like your life still looks messy from the outside, but internally, something is changing. You react differently, think differently, and certain things don't hit the same anymore. And honestly, that quiet shift might be one of the biggest signs you're growing, because outgrowing your old self usually doesn't feel dramatic. It feels subtle, almost invisible. A lot of people think personal growth looks like huge achievements, perfect routines, massive confidence, or having your whole life figured out. But most real growth happens in tiny moments nobody sees. Closing an app before it ruins your focus, walking away from an argument, or realizing you're tired of your own excuses. And if you've been feeling emotionally weird lately, disconnected from old habits, or less interested in certain people, this might explain why. The first sign you're quietly outgrowing your old self is that you're becoming more protective of your energy. A few years ago, you probably said yes to everything. Every distraction, every late-night conversation, every random notification, every emotionally draining person. But now you're starting to notice how certain things affect your mind. You notice how doom scrolling destroys your motivation, how fake friendships mentally exhaust you, and how staying up too late ruins your next day. And this is the part nobody tells you. Maturity isn't just learning what gives you energy, it's learning what quietly steals it. That's why you disappear more sometimes, reply later, protect your peace, and choose fewer people, not because you hate everyone, but because your mind is finally realizing constant access to you is unhealthy. The second sign is that you recover faster from bad days. Bad days still happen, you still procrastinate, overthink, and lose motivation, but you don't stay stuck there as long anymore. You might have turned one bad day into 2 weeks of self-destruction. You missed one workout and thought, whatever, I already failed. Or wasted one evening and decided to ruin the entire week. But now you bounce back faster. And that matters more than perfection because mentally strong people are not people who never fail. They're people who stop turning temporary mistakes into permanent identities. A lot of growth is invisible because it's emotional recovery speed. Nobody notices that you stopped spiraling at 2 a.m. or handled an internal battle differently, but you notice it, and deep down you know you're changing. The third sign is that your standards are changing. You start realizing certain things just don't impress you anymore. Fake productivity, attention-seeking behavior, constant drama, or people who talk big but never improve their lives. At one point, you probably chased validation too. Maybe you wanted people to think you were disciplined, successful, busy, or important, but now you care more about being real than looking impressive. Your priorities change quietly. You stop asking, "How do I look?" and start asking, "How do I actually feel?" That's why simple things suddenly become attractive. Peace, consistency, sleep, focus, privacy. Wanting a calmer life is actually a sign of emotional maturity because chaos is addictive when you're emotionally lost, but peace becomes attractive when you're healing. The fourth sign is that you're becoming more honest with yourself. And this one hurts a little because eventually growth forces you to stop lying to yourself. You can't keep blaming motivation, your schedule, or other people forever. At some point, you realize maybe the problem isn't that you don't know what to do. Maybe it's that you keep escaping discomfort. Suddenly, you notice your own patterns. Opening your phone every time work gets difficult, saying, "I'll start tomorrow," every night, or watching self-improvement videos instead of actually improving. We've all done this, but now the difference is awareness. You catch yourself faster, and once you truly see your patterns, it becomes harder to keep repeating them comfortably. That discomfort is growth happening in real time. The fifth sign is that you feel disconnected from your old identity. You look at old conversations, habits, and even old versions of yourself, and they feel unfamiliar, maybe even embarrassing sometimes. But don't panic because that usually means you're evolving. Growth creates distance. You naturally stop relating to things that once defined you. And honestly, this stage can feel lonely because your interests, mindset, And even your humor start changing while people around you still expect the old version of you. Nobody prepares you for the fact that outgrowing yourself sometimes feels like losing yourself before finding yourself again. But that uncomfortable in-between stage is necessary because you can't become someone new while desperately trying to stay who you used to be. And the sixth sign is that you're finally choosing long-term peace over short-term dopamine. Your old self probably chased whatever felt good immediately. Endless scrolling, instant replies, comfort, avoidance, temporary excitement. But now you're starting to understand something deeper. A good life is usually built from boring choices repeated consistently. Going to sleep on time, studying when you don't feel like it, saving money, saying no, and being patient with progress may not look glamorous, but real self-improvement is often very quiet. Nobody sees the moment you decide not to ruin your focus or the discipline behind small choices, but those decisions slowly build a different person. And one day you realize you're no longer fighting for the life you used to want. You're building a better one. So if you've been feeling different lately, calmer, more distant from certain habits, or more aware of yourself, don't ignore that because not all progress is obvious. Sometimes growth looks like reacting less, needing less validation, recovering faster, protecting your peace, and finally being honest with yourself. Tiny shifts repeated consistently can completely change your life. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself one question. What's one habit, mindset, or behavior that the future version of me has probably already outgrown? And then start letting go of it slowly. Not perfectly, not instantly, just honestly, because you don't become a new person overnight. You become one decision at a time. Start small, but start today.